Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of You'll Hear It, a comedic guide to jazz piano. I'm your host, Peter Martin, and this is Adam Manis, and we're here to help you unlock the secrets of this funky, soulful, and oh so complicated genre. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jazz piano, isn't that just a bunch of dudes in suits noodling around on a keyboard? Well, sure, if you want to be reductive about it. But jazz piano is so much more than that. It's the sound of freedom, the rhythm of life, the essence of cool. And if you're not careful, it might just blow your mind. So if you're ready to embark on a journey of musical discovery, then buckle up, my friends, because we're about to dive deep into the world of jazz piano. We'll talk about the legends of the past, the innovators of the present, and the wild, unpredictable future of this beloved art form. But most importantly, we'll learn how to play it ourselves. Because let's face it, there's nothing cooler than being able to sit down at a piano and bust out a killer jazz riff. Give me a killer jazz riff. Yep. It's like having a secret superpower that nobody else knows about. And who doesn't want to feel like a superhero every once in a while? So join me, Peter Martin, and Adam Manis as we explore the fascinating world of jazz piano. Who knows? By the end of this podcast, you might just discover a new passion, a new talent, or at the very least, a new appreciation for the power of music. Let's get started.
I'm not a fan of jazz, and I don't think anyone in this room is a fan of jazz.
I'm Adam Manis.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear It podcast.
Music advice coming at you.
I got you on that one.
That was good. That was good.
I loved your intro, man. Did you write that yourself?
Well, I'm gonna why did I tell you in advance? Okay, so I was I did not. Did you write your little thing yourself too?
I did not. I did not.
Well, I kind of did. I requested it myself.
Okay.
I requested it from a new friend of mine.
I know. Yeah.
Chat GPT. Ever heard of that?
Would that be something you might be interested in?
No.
Are you not interested in it?
It creeps me out, man. Did you? I don't know if you watched back on the episode where you went all in on the Chat GPT with my bio, and then with what else did we go in on? With?
Open Studios bio.
Open Studios bio. But it. No, it was. We were talking about how to learn jazz.
Oh, right.
And you asked it, and it was so weirdly accurate,
right,
that I was like, I don't like this at all.
Was it weirdly better than we would say?
It was weirdly. It was different than how I would have put it. But also, I was like, there's some great points in this.
Well, maybe
thing.
They got them from us. I mean, we might be part of the algo.
I know we're helping. That's what's creeping me out is like we are helping
language.
the Chat GPT with every piece of content we put out, talking about it.
That's right.
So
what I just read at the beginning, I asked GPT to come up with a script as an intro to the podcast. So you guys can let us know in the comments.
It was really good. I was inspired.
Of YouTube if you think that's better than our usual intro. Because if it's better, I'm just going to ask it each week.
I'm not sure when you said play a jazz riff, I went, I don't know why I did that. This is the first thing that came to mind.
So, yeah, but this is the thing with ChatGPT. I'm actually kind of excited about it a little bit.
You're a fan of ChatGPT?
Well, I'm not willing to say it's a person, but I want to ask you about a couple of things. Well, I'll just say I'm a fan of the possibilities because I like technology. And it's not even technology. I like new ideas. Sue me. I love new ideas. But I like think about if 15 years ago I had said to you, Adam, what if there was a platform in which you could record videos talking about piano instruction or whatever the hell you want to, and it could be dispersed to people around the world on their own devices, but only people that would potentially be interested, that are pre-selected, pre-screened, and then floated in front of them. What would you say? That would have been like network TV only,
like 15 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, like the Real Player.
Oh,
remember the Real Player?
Why are you doing it like
that? I
don't
know.
The Real Player.
That's what we used to do with our
REAL.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a Mark Cuban thing? No, but that was like audio only, wasn't it?
No, you could. I used to watch
Okay, we'll go back 20 years ago.
When I was in
we'll
high
go back
school.
20 years then. Oh, 25.
Okay.
Anyway, but pre-YouTube, I'm saying you would have thought YouTube was crazy and scary.
Geocities?
Geocities. Geocity. Hello. Yeah, but I mean, a lot of times these things are scary. Now, yeah, ChatGPT and AI is the potential that the robot overlords will take us over. That is a downside.
I just read this thing that it's possible it's already happened. Then we don't even know it. Because
Really?
why would they tell us?
Why would they tell us?
Yeah.
Well, even that story has already happened. That's called The Matrix, and The Matrix 2, The Matrix Reloaded. But I think for stuff like this, it's kind of interesting, to see, But the other side, that what musicians have been talking about, I think we maybe hit on this a little bit in that last time we talked about this, but I want to get your opinion on what do you think. Not that it's going to do to be able to write a script to a podcast intro. We already see it can do that.
Yeah.
But what about, is AI going to be able to improvise a jazz solo? Or is it doing it already?
Eventually it will be able to. I mean, Caleb was just telling us at our meeting before this episode.
Producer Caleb
was telling us that he saw someone, use it to, or was it you, to write a song. Where they would put in like the idea for it, and then it would write song lyrics.
But that was just lyrics.
Yeah, just lyrics, but it was not bad. And but that's, like if it can do stuff like your intro was not bad.
Right.
And this is like the first year, like this time last year, we didn't know what the hell ChatGPT was.
Right.
So like the first year of it, and it's already not bad.
Yeah.
By 5 years from now, it's going to be able to improvise.
That's right.
Like our Tatum.
It's like the Beyond Burger. It's pretty good. It's not quite a regular burger, but it's getting better.
It's getting there.
It's getting better.
Yeah. So to me, it's both. I agree that it's both exciting, and I don't want to come across like I'm not excited about that technology, because part of me is excited, but also I'm just weary of it because for so many ethical reasons.
Right. So. Well, I like the challenge of it for us as improvising musicians, as jazz musicians, just as creatives in general, because you talk about some areas that it's already infringing upon, and like visual arts design. I mean, tell DALL-E, which is like the Chat GPT for visual stuff, tell it to create a logo for a wood company it can already do that now. But I like the challenge of it, because it's like it's not really going to take anything over if we can still do it better. So when we talk about us as improvisers, like, is it something that can be reduced down to a algorithm or an AI formula to come up with a solo? Because we've talked about for years, even before this was on the menu, some players that sound like they're playing AI style, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. So that's where we first go, right? Is like, oh yeah, if it's a player that sounds like they're AI or it seems very formulaic, yeah, of course AI could do that. We just watched and we were just honoring the amazing Wayne Shorter, and we would like to think AI would never be able to touch a human soul as Wayne Shorter. But the thing that freaks me out and that I'm scared of is everything that happens, every event is algorithmic. There are causes and predictions that you can make from it. And so I fear that it would be able to improvise better, and even more, like you could dial in how soulful and present and collaborative the AI is eventually, 10 years from now or 5 years from now, whatever it is, you know what I mean? So yeah, we want to think like, oh yeah, it could recreate this, very stiff formulaic player that's just a bunch of chops. But I think if it's really improving, because it is artificial intelligence, it does learn on its own, it's going to learn how to recreate Alice Coltrane records.
Right. But if you think about, so like they talk about the language model and how it can learn, and it can take this data and start to incorporate, well, it's already doing that, incorporate it into creating something. But that's what we've seen many jazz musicians do over the years.
Of course, it's how you do things. It's doing the same thing jazz musicians do, but it can do it like 100 million times faster than our brains can do it.
Right, but that's only bringing in all the influences, bringing in all the information. Aren't we going to always need, and this is the question, rhetorical question, I don't know. Aren't we going to need isn't there the human element to then layer that creativity? Like Wayne Shorter, you can hear all the saxophonists and jazz lineage before him, but then he created something new.
But this is the thing, Peter, once AI realizes how Wayne Shorter did that, it could also make something new out of everything that
But isn't that something kind of spiritual and more esoteric?
Well, so this is the next question.
Like, what are the ingredients that go into making that?
If it can make an Alice Coltrane record, something that seems so earthy and both earthy and from out of this world, from another planet, and also is like spiritual and related to what happened before it. If it could actually do that, right? Well, let's say it can get there creatively. Does it matter? Would we not enjoy it? Like, what if it could touch us in that same way? Should it matter if it's a computer doing it or if it's a human doing it?
Yeah, so I think we're so far away from that happening. Whereas some of these other things, I think we're already there, or we're going to be there soon.
I would like. I mean, that's the thing, though. I feel like the human hubris and ego is that, yeah, it'll never be able to do that. But look at what it already can. Look at your intro. It can already surprise us and delight us a little bit in the first few months of it being sort of around and at scale. What happens in 10 years,
Right.
which is not that long away. What happens in 10 years when it's been learning all this time? I think we have to at least allow for the possibility that not only can it do what we're doing artistically and reach us in meaningful ways,
Right.
because it's going to figure out how to do that. Bless you.
Excuse me. Love to do that on the
Speaking of
podcast.
spirituality. But we have to also, if we want to let go of a little bit of our arrogance, think that, in some ways it's going to surpass what we're able to do artistically, and we have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm
listen,
ready.
people that like
I'm
you and me
ready.
that were born
Replace me.
we were born in the 20th century.
Yeah.
We'll never accept it. It'll never feel. We'll never be able to get a pheromone going.
No, but you
with
just
it.
said if it sounds as great. But this is the thing. It has to go beyond. Oh, I've learned how to play something or create a track as great as Alice Coltrane did by studying her and other musicians. I put this thing together where I can do that now. Like, that's not good enough just to equal that or to be.
No, but I'm saying, what if it gets to the point where it can innovate like Wayne Shorter or Alice Coltrane or Michael Brecker or something like that?
Yeah,
What if it can
will we
innovate?
need there to be a human attached to that? Or are we going to feel like I don't want to just be entertained by?
That's my question. Will it
Yeah.
matter to us?
Right.
Even if it surpasses what that innovation does, are we captivated by innovation because it's another,
I think so.
It's another human being doing it, and we can watch that and be like amazed that, oh my gosh, this person figured this out.
Yeah.
Does it take some of the magic away, even if it sounds incredible and like somehow moves us in a way that is real? Does it take some of the magic away knowing that it was just made by an algorithm?
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, so let's end this segment on we don't know, but we are I'm actively awaiting. You are fearfully awaiting.
I feel like we should just go back to simplicity.
But in jazz, we play all the notes. 12 notes of the scale, dipshit.
Right.
Not 3 chords on a ukulele.
See, I'm saying 3 chords on a ukulele all day.
Right. Well, one thing jazz musicians
give
have
in.
mastered is all 12 notes, overplaying them. So
That's right,
there
that's
you
right.
go. What you got?
So I wanted to talk a little bit about. I made this video. We're delving into a new medium, the short medium. So we're making.
I've been delving into that medium my whole life, sir.
Oh, I feel like that was a pun. That was a height pun. No, we've been making some short content, like minute or less instructional content, which you've never really done. I joke all the time around the offices here that I can't make a YouTube video under 20 minutes. It's just like always 21, 22 minutes, maybe like 15.
Whereas
or
I
18.
my lineage started at 2 minutes
Yeah.
with the 2-minute jazz series from 12 years ago.
Well, it's funny how things come back around.
That's right.
Because,
I had bad timing on that.
because now, a lot of the platforms are pushing, I think because the influence, TikTok has had such an influence, man, on
What is it called? I haven't heard of that
TikTok.
yet. TikTok.
Yeah.
Tickety-tockety.
Possibly banned by the time this
I know.
episode comes out. We'll
Are
see.
you on TikTok?
No, man. I have an account, and sometimes I'll download it on my phone, and I'll literally spend one session. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I'll spend one session on it, and I'll be like, nope, off the phone. It's too.
Yeah.
Speaking of like the computer overlords are coming for us, I'm like, nope. It captures my attention
Interesting.
in a way that I feel like pretty negative about it. I'm like, you shouldn't be able to like get me at my base level this much with just all the stuff it's throwing at me that just keeps me on there.
But you enjoy that at that base level. Like you're enjoying it as you
Well,
go,
so-
but you're thinking about the manipulation of
So in
your
my
attention?
in my own personal like mindfulness practice,
Yeah.
you start to really start recognizing cheap dopamine hits.
Yeah.
Right? That happen with sugar and booze and sex and TikTok. Yeah. But
sugar, booze, sex, TikTok.
yeah, I mean, there are
the big
all,
four.
All of those things can be enjoyed, in a way that is not a cheap dopamine hit. But I feel like TikTok definitely is, by definition, a cheap dopamine hit. And so, what those dopamine hits, at least for me, man, and this might be above the purview of this podcast, but like, it's a hollow feeling, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you get off TikTok, you don't feel like
inspired.
I
to-
feel like you just listened to, we were just last episode listening to Wayne Shorter with the Miles Davis Quintet. Like I listened to that, I feel like like nutrients were added to my soul. Like
Yeah.
I want to go out and make things and like live
Yeah.
life and go sit in the park, and like when I'm on an hour of TikTok, I get off feeling like, man, I should really do some sit-ups. Like that's not a great.
You feel slovenly?
You
Is that what
you just feel like you're not enough, and you also feel like I just wasted all this time looking at all this BS and all this
Yeah.
stuff. So for me, that short, so That's all the
So
same.
that's why you decided to start making shorts.
No,
I got it.
But it has influenced all these other platforms, right?
Right.
And so, it's definitely trickled down to here at Open Studio. We're trying to reach people with what we think is the most amazing art ever made, which is this great improvised music, and music in general, and piano, and celebrate it. So we're starting to sort of delve into the shorter form content stuff. So I made this video on Instagram that's called Killin Harmonic Warm Up.
Yeah.
And it's really taken
Kind of
off.
blowing up.
I know.
I noticed it.
Yeah, I got some good.
Film cred to me, I think, by the way.
You
Didn't
took
I?
the video.
Yeah. I was the videographer on that one.
I feel like it's mostly the videography. That's why
That really
people like it.
made it sparkle.
No, but it's really blown up, and I was surprised because it's like the first thing I've done that's short.
Yeah.
I'm the 22-minute guy. Like that's what I kind of considered myself. But it just goes to show,
Short
like,
was 19 minutes for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It just goes to show that your own expectations can limit what you're doing. If you put expectations, whether that's on like
Limiting beliefs.
me making lesson content for people online, or just what you play. If you're like, I'm the 22-minute guy, I'm the blues lick guy, I'm the stride guy.
We can be more than one thing.
Leave it open. Like leave yourself open, challenge yourself to new things.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful little warm up here that we've been working on in Open Studio Pro a lot, which is just you go up diatonic seventh chords and drop 2, and then you add the secondary dominant for each one. Right, just the dominant chord or fourth below, except from the seventh, because the seventh kind of sucks. And then you do those same dominant chord, but with the third in the bass and a little drop 3.
Yep.
And this is what gets people. This one right here. It's so beautiful. And then you do the same thing with the third in the bass, but it's a moo chord, which we're going to talk about next episode. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a very simple harmonic warm-up, but what it does, I think, is it hits approaching diatonic seventh chords in these 3 different ways. It's very appealing because you get to kind of work on different sounds of approaching these things.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And I think that, you put that video together in a way that it demonstrated, it kind of showed instead of told how to do something. Because that's one thing with a minute. You don't have a lot of time to like sitting down and like really explaining things out. But you did explain this musical pattern. And that's also very useful in terms of like if somebody wants to take that and incorporate that into their practice or their playing. And it sounds good. Yeah. So I think those kinds of things really, really can work. And I love that, the thing I do like about shorts is like, can we meet people where they are, as opposed to being like, oh, everyone's attention span sucks. If you're not willing to listen for 22 minutes, we're not interested in you. It's like, well, clearly they're onto something, and we can sit around and be, old tinfoil head guys.
Oh, I love being dogmatic about things, and also being very conspiratorial about it as well.
Conspiratorial, right? But we can also be. I think that we are trying to be sort of. That's always been the spirit of how we present stuff. Is like, let's be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. So you can go on TikTok and get sick after an hour, but what about if you were watching 60 Adam and Peter 1-minute instructional videos that were well put together, and some other folks?
Now, would that be something you might be interested in?
Like, would you feel better after that 60 minutes? Maybe 60 is a little too long, but maybe 20 minutes of that.
Yeah,
right?
I would hope so. But I mean, even after 5-10 minutes, whatever, the idea is just to spread the beauty of, and you said like it's a pretty sound. It turns out, Peter, I don't know if you know this, but people actually do like things that sound pretty.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Nice.
Things that look pretty, things that sound pretty, things that feel pretty, things that taste pretty.
That's how TikTok gets you.
Anyway, all right, cool. Do we got time for one more?
Yeah,
or
let's do
should
one
we
more.
Okay. Oh yeah, you guys can let us know. We're kind of experimenting. Actually, you know what? We can just talk about that with this. I want to talk to you about podcasting.
Let's do it.
You know why?
Why?
Because you are a podcaster, my friend. As am I.
Am I? I guess
This
I
is
am.
very meta.
Isn't every dude our age a podcaster?
No, that's the thing. Everyone wants to be or talks about it. Very few are, and as many people as they're saying there's too many podcasts. There's all this. Like, I still find that there's not that many great podcasts, because what happens is, like, podcasting is like, we're talking about shorts. Podcasting is long form.
Yeah.
Like we can never do a 1 minute podcast. That wouldn't work.
No.
Even our pithy intros are longer than a minute.
No.
But I mean, I think that what's cool about podcasts is they do go deep. They go narrow and they go very deep. They're about discussions and stuff. And so, you know, although there's many podcasts coming online, something that we've been talking about recently is like the future of this podcast, especially coming into the new year and all this and what we want to do. And so I've just been trying to like really figure out what people like about this, what I like about it, what you like about it. Like, is this serving folks in a way? And so we go by the comments and the feedback that we get, which is kind of funny because the easiest place for us to see that is actually on YouTube. Part of the reason we put these, did you know we're on YouTube, by the way?
I do.
Are you keeping up
It
with
was
this,
my
man?
idea.
Oh, it was your idea. Okay. So yeah, and if you're not subscribed, please go over there because like a little part of our dopamine hit each day is when we both get a little vibration in our pockets. Every new subscriber that
YouTube's
comes
really
along.
got us wrapped around their finger. I know.
No, but we have our own. There'll be a link below, but we have the You'll Hear It channel, separate from Open Studio, separate from the Adam Manis channel, separate from the Peter Martin channel and all that. Just dedicated to video versions, artfully and beautifully.
There's going to be some good stuff
curated
on that channel too.
Really?
Long form.
We go live all the time.
Long form. We never go live. Long form interview.
Oh, that's right. Coming soon.
With a
right.
legend. Coming
Right.
soon. Yeah.
But leave us a comment on this video, even if you're listening to this somewhere else, kind of like what you think about the different formats we have, what you're looking for. We may do it.
What have you
We
been
may
listening
not.
to podcast-wise lately?
Well, as you know, I have kind of my favorites. And this is the thing. That's what I was saying. There's some that I'm really interested in, but I never get to because the ones that I love are all long form. Rich Roll podcast. Ever heard of him?
Yeah.
I love the Rich Roll podcast.
It's a great show.
I like a podcast called My First Million.
Yeah.
Partly because I like to take different ideas. It's sort of a two-guy buddy.
For our podcast.
Couple of bros, sort
Yeah.
of like we are.
Business
kinda-
bros.
They're business bros. We're
Yeah.
jazz bros.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So I take the good and the bad to avoid or whatever from that. But it's a well presented thing. What about you? What have you been listening to? Podcast.
Man, I've been listening to. I've been on a long form kick too. I've been on sort of a boring podcast tip lately. So I've been listening to this podcast from Yale University. Ever heard of it?
Yes.
And this is from 2009. They started posting free podcasts of some of their lecture classes. And so I've been listening to a fascinating class, essentially. It's like a Yale class on game theory, which is really interesting.
Oh, I love game theory.
Oh, man, it's so good. And so I've been listening a lot to that. I've been listening to a lot of Switched On Pop lately, which is something that I kind of come back and forth with, again, to get some inspiration.
Switched On Pop is great.
Yeah. I want to just talk about that, about getting inspiration, because we both now just mentioned podcasts that we listen to get ideas for this show. One of the things, man, I've learned from hanging out with you, Peter, and other great people that are at the top of their game for what they do, and this is applicable to anything, not just making podcasts, but playing the piano or running a business or having a relationship. But like, you are so good, and I've sort of adopted this at like seeing other entities doing what you want to be doing, right? Or something similar. Like this is like what these people are doing. I think we could get there. And so I'm just going to absorb what they're doing and really just try to learn as much as I can from them and research what they're doing. So for anybody out there, that's sort of the Peter Martin method of like what, even if we're talking about music or we're talking about podcasts or thumbnails for YouTube videos, right? How much have we learned from just like who's doing the best at what we kind of want to do?
Yeah.
Like I'm always shocked at how little other people I know don't do this. They're just like, well, I guess, we're going to make a YouTube video and we'll just try to do, I guess, what the best we can.
Start
as
at square
opposed to
one.
like, who's your favorite YouTuber?
Who's your daddy?
No. Who's your favorite YouTuber?
Right.
And what are they doing?
And it doesn't have to be who's your favorite music podcaster or who's
not
your
at
favorite
all.
YouTuber, because I think a lot of people get stuck in that trap. And it's really, you know what I learned this from? It was from playing jazz. Like we talk about
it's hustle.
jazz and how much it's like, I'm so much appreciation because I've gotten everything I need in life from jazz. You know, people think it's just about like learning the chords and like how to play specific things, but it's like, how do you take something, an influence, but on a more nuanced level than just like, I'm going to copy that.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go because I want to play like Herbie Hancock, so I'm going to only listen to Herbie Hancock. That doesn't work, actually.
Absolutely.
You got to go listen to Wayne Shorter. Listen to the people he played with.
Well, and little things like, we especially early days on our YouTube game when we were like getting the look of the things together.
Yeah.
You and I were trading back and forth a lot of like lighting videos, a lot of like, what gear to get and how to light your set.
And it wasn't like music videos that were lit with.
No, it was
like people that knew about lighting
yeah.
or the stuff that we thought looked cool.
But then also these people who are like making these videos on lighting, they have like big followings and they're good YouTubers.
Right.
And so we started copying even things of like, how is their editing desk set up?
Right.
And that it became the how my desk for my home YouTube setup is set up.
Right.
Like that's incredible advice. And it goes all the way
That's
up
a famous
to,
YouTube studio there
well,
that I visited now. I mean, it's very
you saw it
impressive.
the other day, yeah. But then that goes to everything from like running the business to everything we do. It's like find who it is who's doing something similar and who is doing it in a way that really resonates with you.
Yeah.
And just get your inspiration from as many of those sources as you can. It's great. So for me,
another thing that, sorry to interject,
No,
that you're really good about doing in your teaching specifically about practice routines is, how you're always talking about like listen to stuff that you have a passion for.
Yeah.
Or be it a solo that you're learning or a way of practicing or a specific tune or whatever. I think that's so important for this, like say for podcasting as well, because when we take these different references, it's stuff that like, and we're throwing around videos or it's stuff that we love being entertained by.
That's right.
So it's like you're taking the entertainment. So at least you're having fun with it, even if you don't achieve it. And isn't that what we do as when we're young jazz musicians? Like, I love the way Wayne Shorter. Let me try to learn that because I love the way it sounds.
And this is a great point because where we failed on this, and this is a lesson that we'll try to, you could take from us, and I encourage you to try to learn it here without failing yourself. But where we failed is you see someone who's really successful, but maybe it doesn't resonate with you, and then you're like, well, notice what I said. We should probably try to do that because it works so well for them.
Yes.
Never works for you because you don't back it up. It's not authentic to you.
Right.
So even if you find someone who's in a different space and maybe even they're doing things that are different than how you would want it to end up, as long as you love what they're doing, again, no matter what the subject is, whether that's playing piano or making a podcast or running your business or running your family or buying a house or fixing up your house or whatever it is, like,
or starting a crime syndicate could work.
all of it, like being inspired by
Drug
people
cartel.
that really light you up. That's where the gold is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's great. That's great. And I mean, it's like the thing I think about too, specifically applicable to when you're looking for inspiration, looking for fun, looking for a different angle, looking for a way to bring out your personality in doing something, is like be innovative about what you choose as your reference. So like if you're going to learn another solo, learn a Sonny Rollins solo on the piano.
Yeah.
Or if you're a saxophone player, learn a Thelonious Monk solo on like
If they move you, don't do it because Peter Martin said to do it.
yeah, no, exactly. No,
Yeah.
find whatever you but this is, you talk about limiting beliefs. You mentioned that earlier. It's like, oh, I have to learn a solo. Let me go think about my favorite piano solos to learn because I'm a pianist. So you're already limited yourself. Now, are you going to learn something from learning a Thelonious? Of course. But are you going to potentially learn more by going to another place and learning a vibraphone solo, Bobby Hutcherson or whatever? Or even bigger, I need to go learn something because it's all about developing your ears. It's not about that end result. It's like, how do you go on that journey? Go beyond even jazz. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we limit ourselves so much when we get these reference points and when we open up things. And that's part of the reason. And I would just ask for folks, you can let us know in the comments too. Like, I don't listen to a lot of music podcasts, although I'm super interested in them. Like Switched on Pop, I don't listen to a lot, partly because I
go in and out.
But I'm so afraid of us copying it for this podcast. So when I go for references for this, I'm going to other things that I love too.
Yeah.
I don't listen to other, like there's a classical podcast that's, what was it called? That I really like, but I was like, I got to be careful because I'm going to start copying that exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so, but there's other great, music podcasts out there. I mean, not as great as this, of course.
Never. Of course not. Never.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's about it. So this podcast is brought to you by Open Studio. Go to openstudiojazz.com.
What's happening at Open Studio like this week? Well, we got to go to the future because this will be, let's talk about this month. So we got some cool stuff this month.
We do have some cool stuff. So we're releasing a course from Chris Parks. We're releasing a course from Jillian Margot, vocalist. Releasing a course from probably Bob DeBoo, if we can get time. All in March, man. This is a lot popping off.
Peter Martin? Is that
we are
coming out this month?
Releasing a course by Peter Martin, all about amazing, what was
27
27
essential jazz piano etudes
Hello.
with a book.
Hello.
That might be next month, though. We still got a little
It
work
might be
on
next
that.
month. There's a lot of work. But
Yeah.
we put a goal for this first quarter, the first 3 months of 2023 to record 6 new courses. We're doing it, man. We have one more course to record, which is going to be called, do you know?
essential elements
Nope,
of jazz
not even
appreciation.
close.
Oh,
Nope.
no, this is the listening course.
Yep. What's it called?
How to listen to jazz
Nope.
with Peter and Adam.
Nothing
Oh,
like
that's
it.
this podcast.
Yep. What is it called?
I don't know. We haven't named
The
it yet.
Art of Listening.
Oh, the art of listening.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
if you're an Open Studio
we're still
member,
workshopping that title.
if you're an Open Studio member, you get access to all of these courses. So you can go to openstudiojazz.com if you want to check out a member. We also have a free trial if you want to check out the free trial.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll provide a link to the free trial there in the show notes. You can check that out there.
Until next time.
You'll hear it.
I'm in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, currently.
I'm in Indianapolis.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Andrew, hi.
Because I feel inspired to play something else from your playing.
Okay, that's great.
I think using the metronome is a great tool, but it's not the only tool.
All of the answers are really in the music.
What does it mean to live in a groove, be in a groove?
Until next time, happy practicing.